The rain battered the roof of our old Victorian house, each drop a tiny fist pounding my heart into a frenzy. I stood frozen in the kitchen, clutching a mug of tea that had gone cold, staring at the woman who just turned my world upside down. Lily, my sister's girlfriend, leaned against the counter, her dark eyes locked on mine, whispering words that made my knees weak. "I've been watching you, Emma, and I can't stop. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was the quiet one, the 24-year-old bookworm who buried herself in novels and avoided drama. My sister, Sarah, was the opposite, bold, brash, the life of every party in our small Massachusetts town. She brought Lily home 3 months ago, introducing her as the coolest person you'll ever meet. Lily, 26, was all sharp edges and charisma, with her leather jackets and that half-smile that could unravel anyone. I'd noticed her, sure, who wouldn't? But I never imagined she'd notice me back. Not like this. Not in a way that made my pulse race and my morals scream. That night, Sarah was upstairs, passed out after a long shift at the hospital. Lily and I were alone in the kitchen, cleaning up after dinner. It started innocently, a brush of her hand against mine as we washed dishes, her laugh at my terrible joke about dish soap. But then she stopped, turned to me, and the air shifted. "You're different, Emma," she said, her voice low, like she was confessing a secret. "You're not like Sarah. You see things. You feel things." Her words hung there, heavy, dangerous. I should have walked away. I should have reminded her of my sister, of loyalty, of right and wrong. But I didn't. I couldn't. Instead, I let her step closer, her breath warm against my cheek. "What are you doing?" I whispered, my voice trembling. She didn't answer. She didn't need to. Her fingers grazed my arm, sending sparks through my skin, and for the first time in my life I felt seen. Not as Sarah's little sister, not as the shy girl who faded into the background, but as me. The next morning, guilt clawed at my chest. Sarah was in the living room, laughing about some work story, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. Lily acted like nothing had happened, tossing her arm around Sarah like always. But her eyes found mine across the room, a fleeting glance that said everything. This wasn't over. I tried to bury it, to pretend it was a moment of weakness, but every time Lily was near, my resolve crumbled. She'd find excuses to talk to me, asking about the books I was reading, brushing past me in the hallway, her touch lingering just a second too long. I started avoiding her, taking longer shifts at the bookstore, staying late to rearrange shelves I'd already organized. But Lily was relentless. One evening, she cornered me in the store's back room, the smell of old paper and ink thick around us. "Why are you running from me?" she asked, her voice soft but demanding. I wanted to scream that I wasn't running, that I was drowning in her, in the betrayal, in the way my heart betrayed my sister every time I thought of her. Instead I said, "You're with Sarah. This is wrong." She stepped closer, her leather jacket creaking, her eyes searching mine. "Is it wrong if it feels like the only thing that's real?" she asked. I had no answer. My mind screamed one thing, my heart another. I pushed past her, muttering something about needing air, but her words followed me like a shadow. Days turned into weeks, and the tension grew unbearable. Sarah started noticing my distance, asking why I was so quiet, why I flinched when Lily was around. I lied, said I was stressed about work, but the truth was eating me alive. I loved my sister. She'd been my rock through every heartbreak, every doubt. But Lily was a wildfire, and I was the dry grass waiting to burn. One night, Sarah announced she was going away for a weekend conference. "You and Lily can hold down the fort," she said, grinning. My stomach dropped. 2 days alone with Lily. 2 days to fight the pull that was tearing me apart. I nodded, forcing a smile, but inside I was terrified. Terrified of what I'd do, of what I wanted, of what it would cost. As Sarah's car pulled out of the driveway, Lily turned to me, her expression unreadable. "We need to talk, Emma," she said. My heart pounded. I knew this was the moment everything would change. The house felt too quiet without Sarah's laughter, like it was holding its breath, waiting for something to break. Lily stood in the living room, her silhouette framed by the soft glow of a lamp, and I felt the weight of her words. "We need to talk." My mouth went dry, but I nodded, sinking onto the couch, clutching a throw pillow like it could shield me from what was coming. "Emma," she began, sitting across from me, her knees almost touching mine. "I know you feel it too. This thing between us. It's not just in my head, is it? Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of fear, like she was stepping off a cliff and hoping I'd catch her. I wanted to lie to tell her she was wrong, but the truth was a knot in my throat choking me. I don't know what I feel, I said finally, my voice barely above a whisper. But you're with Sarah. She's my sister. She loves you. Each word felt like a blade, cutting deeper into the mess we'd made. Lily leaned forward, her hands clasped tightly, like she was trying to hold herself together. I care about Sarah, she said. I do. But when I'm with you, it's different. It's like I'm awake for the first time in years. Her words hit me like a punch, stealing my breath. I wanted to hate her for saying it, for making me feel this way. But all I could think about was how her hand had felt on mine, how her smile made my chest ache. We sat in silence, the rain outside a steady drumbeat against the windows. Then she reached out, her fingers brushing my knee, and I didn't pull away. Tell me to stop, she said, her voice low, almost pleading. Tell me you don't want this and I'll walk away. I'll leave you alone. But I couldn't. The words wouldn't come. Instead, I leaned forward, closing the distance between us, and kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative, like we were both afraid it would shatter us. Then it deepened, her hands finding my face, my heart racing so fast I thought it might burst. It was wrong, so wrong, but it felt like the only thing that made sense. The weekend blurred into stolen moments, her hand in mine as we watched movies, her laughter in the kitchen as we burned pancakes, her lips on mine in the dark of my room. Each touch was a secret, each glance a confession, but guilt was never far behind. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Sarah's face, her trust, her love. By Sunday night, reality crashed back in. Sarah would be home in hours, and the weight of what we'd done settled like a stone in my chest. What are we doing, Lily? I asked, my voice breaking as we sat on my bed, the room lit only by moonlight. This can't go on. It's going to destroy her. Lily's face crumpled, her usual confidence gone. I don't know how to stop, she admitted. I've never felt like this before. Not with Sarah. Not with anyone. Her honesty broke something in me, and I pulled her close, holding her as we both cried. We were trapped, caught between love and loyalty, and neither of us knew how to escape. When Sarah's car pulled into the driveway, we sprang apart, wiping our eyes, pretending everything was normal. But nothing was normal anymore. Sarah hugged me, oblivious, and I forced a smile, my heart splintering. That night I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering how I'd let myself fall so far. The next week was torture. Lily and I avoided each other, but the tension was palpable, a live wire sparking between us. Sarah noticed something was off, her questions sharper, her eyes searching. What's going on with you two? She asked one night at dinner. I froze, my fork halfway to my mouth. Lily laughed it off, but her voice was strained. I knew we couldn't keep this up. Something had to give. And then it did. Late one night I found a note slipped under my door in Lily's handwriting. Meet me at the coffee shop tomorrow. We have to figure this out. My heart raced, torn between dread and hope. I didn't know what she wanted to say, but I knew it would change everything. The coffee shop was a sanctuary of warm lights and the smell of roasted beans, but my stomach churned as I pushed open the door. Lily was already there, sitting in a corner booth, her leather jacket slung over the chair, her fingers tapping nervously on a coffee mug. Seeing her like that, vulnerable, uncertain, made my heart ache, but it also reminded me of the line we'd crossed, the one we couldn't uncross. I slid into the booth, avoiding her eyes. What do we do, Lily? I asked, my voice raw. We can't keep sneaking around. It's killing me. She reached for my hand, but I pulled back, the weight of Sarah's trust crushing me. I know, she said softly. But I can't pretend I don't love you. The word love hit me like a tidal wave. I'd felt it, known it, but hearing it out loud made it real, undeniable. You can't say that, I whispered, my eyes stinging. You're with Sarah. She's my sister. Lily's face tightened, and for the first time I saw her struggle, the confident mask slipping. I didn't plan this, she said. I didn't want to hurt her. But you're in my head, Emma. All the time. We sat there, the world moving around us, baristas calling orders, customers laughing, but we were in our own bubble, grappling with a truth too big to hold. I wanted to tell her to leave, to end it, but the thought of losing her felt like losing a part of myself. "We have to tell her," I said finally, the words tasting like ash. "She deserves the truth." Lily nodded, her jaw tight. "I know. But it's going to break her." The fear in her voice mirrored my own. Sarah was strong, but this would shatter her. And me. And us. We agreed to talk to her together, to be honest, no matter how much it hurt. But the thought of facing her, of admitting what we'd done, made my chest feel like it was caving in. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying every moment with Lily, the way her eyes softened when she looked at me, the way her touch made me feel alive. But then I'd see Sarah's smile, her trust, and the guilt would crash over me again. I was betraying the person who'd always had my back, who'd bandaged my scraped knees as a kid, who'd cheered me on through every doubt. The next day, Sarah came home early from work, her face lit with excitement. "I got us tickets to a concert this weekend," she said, waving them in the air. "You, me, and Lily. It'll be fun." Her enthusiasm was a knife in my heart. I glanced at Lily, who looked as sick as I felt. We couldn't keep lying, but how could we destroy her like this? That evening, Lily and I stole a moment in the backyard, the stars above us cold and distant. "Tomorrow," she said, her voice firm. "We tell her tomorrow." I nodded, my throat too tight to speak. But as we stood there, the back door swung open and Sarah stepped out, her smile fading as she saw us. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice sharp with suspicion. My heart stopped. Lily opened her mouth, but no words came. I wanted to confess, to spill everything, but fear choked me. Instead, I mumbled something about needing air and fled inside, leaving Lily to face Sarah's questions alone. I hated myself for it, but I couldn't face her. Not yet. The next morning, Sarah was quiet, her eyes red like she'd been crying. She didn't ask about last night, but the air was thick with tension. Lily pulled me aside, her voice urgent. "She knows something's up, Emma. We can't wait any longer." I nodded, my hands shaking. "Tonight. We tell her tonight." But as the day dragged on, the dread grew, and I wondered if I had the strength to break my sister's heart. The living room felt like a courtroom as we sat down that evening, Sarah on the couch, Lily and I in armchairs across from her. The air was heavy, the silence deafening. Sarah's eyes flicked between us, sharp and searching, like she was piecing together a puzzle she didn't want to solve. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice steady but edged with something brittle. I opened my mouth, but the words stuck. Lily took a deep breath, her hands gripping the arms of her chair. "Sarah," she began, her voice trembling, "there's something we need to tell you." My heart pounded so loud I was sure they could hear it. This was the moment everything would fall apart. Lily told her everything. The glances, the touches, the weekend when Sarah was away. Her voice was soft but unflinching, and with every word, I saw Sarah's face change, shock, then pain, then anger. When Lily said, "I love her, Sarah. I love Emma," my sister's eyes snapped to mine, and the betrayal in them cut deeper than any knife. "You," she whispered, her voice breaking. "My sister." I wanted to disappear, to sink into the floor and never come back. "Sarah, I'm so sorry," I choked out, tears streaming down my face. "I didn't mean for this to happen. I tried to stop it." But my words sounded hollow even to me. Sarah stood, her hands shaking. "You tried," she spat. "You're my sister, Emma. You're supposed to have my back, not stab it." She turned to Lily, her voice rising. "And you, how could you do this to me?" Lily didn't flinch, but her eyes were wet. "I never wanted to hurt you," she said. "But I can't lie about how I feel." The room erupted into chaos, Sarah yelling, me crying, Lily trying to explain. Sarah stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. I sank to the floor, sobbing, while Lily knelt beside me, her hand on my shoulder. "We did the right thing," she whispered, "but it didn't feel right. It felt like I'd just lost my sister." For days, Sarah avoided us, staying late at work, sleeping in the guest room. The house was a ghost town, filled with silence and guilt. Lily tried to comfort me, but every touch felt tainted now, a reminder of what we'd done. I started questioning everything. Did I love her? Or was I just caught up in the thrill? Was this worth tearing my family apart? One night I found Sarah in the kitchen, staring at a glass of wine. "I don't know how to forgive you," she said without looking at me. "But I miss you." Her words broke me all over again. We talked for hours, raw and painful, about trust, about love, about how we'd both been blindsided by this. She wasn't ready to forgive, but she wasn't ready to let me go either. Lily and I tried to navigate our feelings, but the weight of Sarah's pain hung over us. We agreed to slow down to give Sarah space, but it was hard. Every time I saw Lily, I wanted to hold her, to lose myself in her. But I couldn't shake the image of my sister's broken expression. Weeks passed and Sarah started talking to us again. Small steps toward healing. But the tension lingered, a reminder that some wounds take time to close. Lily and I were caught in limbo, loving each other but afraid to move forward. I didn't know if we'd ever find a way out, but I held on to a fragile hope that we could rebuild, not just as lovers but as a family. Spring came to our small town, painting the trees with blossoms and hope, but inside our house, the air was still heavy with the echoes of winter's pain. Sarah was trying. She joined us for meals, made small talk, even laughed sometimes, but her smiles didn't reach her eyes. Lily and I were careful, keeping our distance, trying to rebuild the trust we'd shattered. One evening, Sarah asked us to sit down. Her hands were steady, her voice calm, but there was a weight to her words. "I've been thinking," she said, looking between us. "I can't pretend this doesn't hurt, but I also can't pretend I don't see how you look at each other." My heart stuttered. Was she giving us permission? Or was this goodbye? "I need time," she continued, "but I don't want to lose either of you. Not as my sister, not as my friend." She looked at Lily, her eyes softening. "I loved you, Lily. Maybe I still do in a way. But I want you to be happy. And Emma, I want that for you too." Her words were a gift, fragile and precious, but they came with a cost. Sarah asked for space, a chance to heal on her own terms. She was moving out, she said, to an apartment across town. "Not because I hate you," she clarified, seeing my panic. "Because I need to find myself again." The day she left, I helped her pack, tears streaming down my face as we folded her clothes in silence. "You're still my sister," she said, pulling me into a hug. "We'll figure this out." It wasn't forgiveness, not fully, but it was a start. Lily and I moved forward cautiously, like we were learning to walk again. We went on dates, quiet dinners, walks in the park, building something new, something honest. But we carried Sarah's pain with us, a reminder to be better, to love with care. Months later, Sarah invited us to her new place for dinner. She decorated it with her usual flair, photos of us as kids on the walls, a sign that she hadn't let go of our bond. We laughed, we talked, and for the first time in months it felt like family. Not the same, but something stronger, forged in truth and time. Lily and I grew closer, our love deepening with every shared moment. But we never forgot the cost. We made a promisito each other, to Serato always choose honesty, no matter how hard. One night under the stars, Lily took my hand and kissed it, her eyes shining. "You're worth it," she whispered. "All of it." I believed her. And as I looked at her, I saw not just the woman I loved, but the future we could build, a future where love didn't mean betrayal, where family could heal, where we could all find our way back to each other. The road ahead wasn't easy, but it was ours. And that was enough. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.